Shoot, this thing's got some kick to it.
Hello everyone, this is Dutch Matrix, and I'm here today with my good friend, the AR man, AR Dan. Say hello, AR Dan.
Hello, AR Dan.
And today we're doing another episode of Recoil, where we're discussing gun laws, two-way stuff, all that. We're going to go over some L's and a couple dubs today. So this is actually going to be a Dan-heavy episode, because he knows way more about guns than I do. He's our new resident gun autist in the Discord, just so you know. I don't know if I can say autist on YouTube without getting some kind of strike, but I guess we'll see. Anyways, you can say retarded on YouTube without getting anything, so I think I should be fine.
Well, I'm some form of autist, and I approve this message, so I'm not offended.
So, today, the first thing we have is AR Dan's noob gun suggestions. So he has one noob gun suggestion for today, and this is his first. I told him to look up his best noob suggestion for a new pistol.
That would likely be what I would consider the SIG 220 series, 9mm, so a 226 or a 229. It's a little on the pricier side, but they're simple and they're reliable. Most of them come with or can be installed with self-illuminating night sights. They're double stacked 9mm and they can support a weapon light.
Does my 2022 go in that same area?
Yeah, similar. Also the 320. Just the SIG 9mm double stacks, as long as it's got a rail and night sights, should be good to go. I don't suggest Glocks for first-time users because it's like trying to shoot a 2x4. Also, I don't suggest any gun that requires pulling the trigger to take it apart because some noob is going to forget to unload it and put a hole in, at best, their floor, at worst, themselves.
And we've seen way too many of those YouTube, well, the reels or the short clips of the people having the discharges.
Negligent discharges.
They were being extra negligent. It wasn't just like they were holding the gun and accidentally shot it. They were like waving it around and...
Oh, I like the ones where they shoot the camera.
So, you already kind of said the price point. What the price point they looking at for these?
These, the difference is, well, a SP220, SP 2022 or a P320, those will run $500 to $600. The metal frames, the 226s and 229s, run around $1,000 to over $1,000 for the much nicer versions.
And that was AR Dan's noob gun of the day. We'll have another one for you. We'll probably run through the whole list. Obviously, you should have, or the general idea is to have one pistol, one rifle, and one shotgun, but we'll get to that in later episodes. And moving on to the L's, I kind of want to give you guys the bad news first. We'll get to the good news later. There is at least a little glimmer of hope later. But before that, the L's. And please comment on this with what you think of these new laws, because even if you don't live in California, we've seen it time and time again that California kind of sets a precedent for the rest of the country, even more red states that are more gun-friendly.
It's like the cancer that won't stop metastasizing. Washington, Colorado, New York, New Jersey, it all starts in California.
So the first thing I have on my list here, Dan, and I'll let you go into this, is the California Assault Weapon Amendment, the 28th Amendment to the Constitution that Gavin Newsom is trying to put through.
Oh, that self-jerk-off. Yeah, he's trying to get the United States Constitution amended to essentially nullify the Second Amendment. Restrictions on assault weapons, magazine capacity limitations. This guy needs 2/3 a majority of state legislatures to just say, hey, yeah, we want to hear this out, to convene a constitutional convention to consider an amendment. We have 27 states that already have constitutional carry where you don't need a license to carry a concealed weapon on your person. He's not going to get 2/3 of the states when more than half of them are already like, screw you. He's just doing it to stroke his ego for his upcoming presidential run. We know he's gonna run. He's the Biden replacement.
The other thing I've heard with that from Reno May was the people that brought up that when they had the whole concealed carry...
New York State Rifle Pistol Association versus Bruin.
Yeah.
Eliminated the May issue concealed carry permit scheme, where the government basically says, we are the final arbiters on a subjective standard of whether or not you can carry a gun with you. Surprise. New York basically went, no, we're not going to let people carry a gun. A lot of counties in California, we're not going to let people carry guns. That got overturned, and now you're forced to have a shall issue where you judge people by a objective standard. Yeah, they still try to be as subjective as possible about it.
Objective standard.
Quote unquote objective. Essentially, they have to issue a permit unless they can find some legal reason not to. Granted, yeah, we've got a section on how that's going here in California.
And so Reno May was bringing up that a lot of left-leaning people who were against that were saying how it was going to be a catastrophic overturning of the laws. They thought it was going to be a rush for concealed carry licenses by a bunch of people, and also obviously bodies or whatever.
They're always it's going to be the Wild West, everybody's going to die! Except that places where guns can be legally carried easily are safer.
And nothing really changed, honestly.
No.
As far as like people want, it's just people who wanted to get them before kind of, but thought they couldn't get them, went and tried to get them. And then that's it. Also, I've heard somewhere else that statistically, people with concealed carry licenses are some of the most law-abiding people in the country.
Yeah, because they bothered to go out and do the government process to obtain the license.
And speaking of the permit, how hard was it for you to get that permit? So.
Oh my god, it was just a long, slow process. You gotta take classes. Just, do you know how long an 8-hour class is when they're just discussing minutia of state gun law? It says 8 hours on the clock, but it feels more like 36.
Did the person teaching you even want to be there?
No. Everybody's like, this is stupid, but we gotta do it or else nobody can get a permit. There's fees. You have to do a psych eval. Turns out I am, in fact, not crazy. I have the psych eval results to prove it.
That's some semblance of sanity.
Sane, just an autist.
And since we're going into it, another L for us right now is the concealed carry rules, AB 2.
Yep.
Which is, to summarize from my understanding, he'll go deeper into it, but to summarize from my understanding, you basically just can't carry it anywhere because they've made so many safe spaces or sensitive spaces, and that includes sidewalks and parking lots that those spaces are connected to, that you basically can't carry it without carrying it illegally anyways. So
where to get started on this? Gavin Newsom's clone of New York's Concealed Carry air quotes Improvement Act. Essentially, after New York got slapped down by the Supreme Court in Bruin, Governor Hochul got just a real bug up her ass over it. So it's like, well, we're gonna just make every little single individual place we can a safe place, a restricted, sensitive place, since we can't make the entirety of New York a sensitive place like they wanted to. So here's a sensitive place, there's a sensitive place, there's a sensitive place. Basically, you fill in a map and it just looks like somebody just sprayed paint all over it. There's a little spot where you can carry, and there's a little spot where you can carry. But essentially, let me just draw up my little list here that I found. For California's shiny new version, you cannot carry guns state property, parking lots, and sidewalks adjacent to state property, so we're talking courthouses, government buildings. If the state government leases an office in a strip mall somewhere, you can't carry in that parking lot. You can't carry on the sidewalk by that parking lot. If you have a concealed carry permit, you can't drive past a school. Like, you gotta go 4 blocks down and go around it. Because no sidewalks, no streets, anything under the control of an airport. So, you gotta go to SFO or Oakland to pick up, your girlfriend from her flight. You legally cannot carry your gun with you to drive up to the curb to have her hop in the car and drive her home. Nope, that's illegal. Ship terminals, although who takes ships anywhere?
Yeah. Maybe people who work at, like, docks and stuff like that.
I think it's more like the ferry buildings.
Ah.
But transit, public transit. The trains, you can't carry on the buses, which, I mean, frankly, around here, you need a 357 Magnum just to go across town on the bus without, possibly getting stabbed.
The horrible public transit system in LA as well.
That too, but this is the local example. Anything owned or adjacent to schools, any place that sells alcohol. We're not just talking bars.
Liquor stores. Grocery stores, convenience stores, restaurants. If there's alcohol on the menu, you can't carry there. If the taco truck, in the parking lot sells got a couple beers for sale, you can't be in that parking lot. You can't be in the parking lots adjacent to those businesses too, I believe. I could be wrong on that one. Lotto tickets as well.
Yes. State parks. City parks. Any land controlled by the California Fish and Wildlife Service. And to top it all off is what we like to call the Vampire Clause, where you cannot enter a private residence or private business with a concealed firearm without the owner's explicit permission or a posted sign saying that concealed carry is okay. You can't go in unless you're invited in, like a vampire. So that's part of the May v. Bonta lawsuit against this right now. One of the big cases, there's plaintiffs on that case that don't even have concealed carry permits. They're just business owners, and they're like, we don't want to have to put up a sign because this is California. We don't want to risk alienating, clients.
They're like, we don't
ours.
care if they carry, but they also don't want to have to say...
We don't care if they carry, but we don't want to have to declare that it's okay to carry there, because then we have customers or clients that maybe don't like guns, and they're like, I don't want to go there. They have a sign that says that guns are okay, and it's scary.
Yeah. Molly had something to say about that.
Exactly.
So, that's the gist of it, and realistically...
Churches.
Oh, right.
Don't forget churches.
Yeah.
Because how many mass shootings have there been in churches, and they want to make churches even harder to defend from violent crime?
Yeah. And that's the gist of that. We do have one more, and that's going to be an 11% tax on weapons and ammo, with a possibility that Dan just told me about earlier today of a 20% tax on the ammo.
I haven't checked on the 20% tax. It may have been one of the 23 new bills our fucking asshole governor just signed into law, as if that guy doesn't have anything better to do. You'd think that keeping that hair greased would be a full-time job.
Or dealing with the homelessness problems, or dealing with...
Why would he deal with that? He can just tell everyone to ignore it.
Well, I thought I heard on the news today one of our mayors or something like that in the local area saying that they are dedicated to upholding, justice, and no crime will go unpunished or anything like that, even though there are so many crimes that, well, they've just made them not crimes anymore.
Yeah. We don't have to punish these crimes if they're not crimes anymore.
But, anyways, 11%. This is an 11% tax.
11% excise tax on the purchase of firearms and ammunition.
When we already pay $35 for just the DROS.
Dealer record of sales
background
fee.
check. And then also you have background checks on ammo, too, now, which we didn't have it up until, 2 years ago?
I don't remember the last time I bought ammo.
Maybe before the pandemic.
But there's nothing like putting a tax on a constitutional right, which I'm fairly certain there's already been a Supreme Court case that says you can't do that. Because you can't tax people to vote at the polls, you can't tax people for free speech, you can't tax people to go to church. And yet gun rights are still the bastard right. You can just fuck with them however you'd like.
So, I don't know if there's even a lot to say about this other than that it's just an 11% tax, so more money to pay on... It's keeping it out of the hands of people who can't afford it.
Yeah, if you're working class, guns are about to be almost impossible. You've got the state basic sales tax. It's 10.25%, 10.5%. Add 11% excise tax on top of that. The possibility of a 20% ammunition tax. You're going to be paying 42% tax on a box of bullets. You know, that...
I was going to say the ammunition tax is the worst one because we can't even really order... We can order ammunition, but we have to do so much to just get it here that it's almost not worth it to order it online.
Yeah, get yourself that 50 cent around 10 millimeters. Suddenly that 50 cents around 10 millimeters costing you 70 cents.
And it goes, and so the only places that we're going to be able to get it soon too, we've had so many, and whether you're in the Bay Area, LA, the Valley, whatever, we've had so many gun shops go out of business just because they can't keep up with it or their cities push them out for some reason, that the only people we're going to be left with is like Big 5, and we know how much Big 5 ammo costs.
Oh, that's practically extortion.
So those are the big ones we got for you today, but we do have some dubs, and before we go on to the dubs, I would like to mention to go support the Firearms Policy Coalition and the American Suppressor Society, or Association. I'll remember to get that one correct when I put it up in post, but remember to go support them because they're doing a lot of the work to fight this stuff, putting out lawsuits, all that, more with the Firearms Policy Coalition, but American Suppressor Association is also amazing. I would love it if suppressors were just, legal.
We got a lawsuit. There's a lawsuit on that in Illinois right now.
So we might get back to you on that soon.
Let's not forget about Gun Owners of America and the California Rifle and Pistol Association.
Rifle Association.
And the California Rifle and Pistol Association, the CRPA.
The California Rice Association.
It's like the NRA, except they actually give a shit about California.
And with that, we'll go on to the dubs, which is the Benitez case.
The Benitez...
I mean, he's had a bunch of cases.
Duncan v. Bonta.
There's a reason they say Saint Benitez.
Yeah.
Why is he so base?
Because, well, he's practically a constitutionalist. Everybody knows California, you're not allowed to have scary assault weapons, and you're not allowed to have those scary full-capacity magazines that they like to call high-capacity. Yeah, if it comes with 30 rounds from the factory, that's standard. That's not high-capacity. But just last week, Judge Roger T. Benitez finally handed down his ruling in the Duncan v. Bonta magazine ban case. So...
Again.
For those of you who don't know, yeah, again, the return.
Is this the second or third time?
Second time he's dealt with this. So originally, 2-3 years ago?
Yeah.
Is it almost 4 now? He ruled...
This was before the pandemic, so even further.
He ruled on the case, said, hey,
Because I remember Freedom Week.
Oh, I love all those magazines. But he basically looked at the state law. The state was attempting actually to ban grandfathered in, quote, high-capacity magazines that were people lawfully owned before the ban and were told they could keep them. But then the state tried to amend the law, or pass a new law that said, hey, you know what, all those grandfathered magazines, yeah, you can't have them anymore. So the case went to the Southern District of California's court, and the judge, Roger T. Benitez, looked at it and said, hey, not only can you not ban these magazines that you already said could be grandfathered in, they were owned lawfully, but you don't have any ground to have actually banned these to begin with, so I'm placing an injunction on this ban. Hey, this ban is invalid. This law is invalid, and it's so ruled for the next 7 days until the state has a chance to appeal to the Ninth Circuit Court, the Nutty Ninth.
Again.
So that 7-day injunction is what became known here in California as Freedom Week, and something on the order of 100 million magazines were shipped into the state. I have a drum mag. I love that thing. I've never actually fired all the way through it.
A legal drum mag.
A legal drum magazine in my legal possession because Freedom Week. But it went to the Ninth Circuit, and as is procedure, it went to a 3-judge panel, and the panel made a 2-to-1 decision that said, hey, you know what? This judge is right. There's no legal standing for this law, so it stays enjoined, which obviously California does not like that. So, that got boosted up to the full 11-judge panel for the bonk, and they went, you know what? No, we don't like those other decisions, so yeah, magazines are illegal again. You can't buy them anymore. which of course it got appealed to the Supreme Court because 2 W's with an L on top. It's like, no, we can't do that. And that case got held in limbo up until the Supreme Court ruled on Bruin. Said, hey, you know, we have a new standard here that you have to judge everything by. Is it history, tradition, and text? What do the old-timey laws say? What was the tradition? What was the history? So it all has to be reevaluated by that standard. And the Supreme Court took Duncan and said, you know what? This is going back down to the Ninth Circuit because the Ninth Circuit did it wrong. The Supreme Court basically said, you ruled on it wrong. Do it again. Supreme Court based. Thank you, based Clarence Thomas. But Ninth Circuit didn't want to deal with it, so they kicked it all the way back down to Benitez, who sat on it for a while.
So we're just going around in circles.
Oh, yeah. Made a very, very strongly worded decision on it, and then said, here's my decision, and it went back to the Ninth. Surprise attack! The Ninth Circuit said, you know what? No, this is a return case. So it doesn't get to go to the 3-judge panel. A new 3-judge panel decide it. The old 11-judge panel is going to decide on it again, which...
We know how that worked out the first time.
Oh, yeah. No, 2 of the judges that were on that panel, that were on that 11-judge en banc, Judges Bumate and Van Dyke, were not happy to have it come back to them. Like, no, this is not the procedure. This is some bullshit.
Yeah.
Literally, Judge Bumate was mad. He's like, you know, this is disappointing. This is without precedent how we're doing this. This is incorrect procedure. And Judge Van Dyke is basically like, you f***ing snakes. There's a place in hell for you corrupt bastards, and I hope one day to send you there. Obviously paraphrasing. He's just very pithy and accusing fellow Ninth Circuit members of corruption.
As PC and legalistic language as possible.
Oh, no, it wasn't even that. He was just angry.
Oh,
like,
okay.
This is angry words, not even angry legal words.
So is it that they agree with, like, it should be legal, or is it that they're just like, I don't want to see this again?
It's not even that it's legal or not. It's a violation of procedure. They want it so that the original 11 judges that ruled it illegal the first time get to rule on it again and just say it's illegal again.
And then it's just going to go back up to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, but again, we're looking at possibly years once more, but you know, it's that much closer to the Supreme Court this time, skipping the 3-judge. But these judges are just pissed that these people are ruling. They've basically set it up so they can rule with how they want it to go instead of how the law is supposed to be written. No text, history, and tradition, just straight, we don't like it, so we want it to go away.
And that's what we have to deal with here in California, if you ever wondered. But for one more dub of the day, I thought it was an 11-year-old, but I went and read the article. It's actually a 13-year-old. There was a cracked out robber at this house in, I believe it was New Mexico or Arizona. So not California, but we won't just deal with California stuff here. This cracked out guy was breaking into these people's house. It was 4 kids and their mom, and the mom froze up with the guns. The 13-year-old saw that his mom was in danger and froze up, took the gun from her, and blasted the guy. The guy then ran back outside, deciding it was not such a good idea to be in this house, and the cops found him bleeding out on the front lawn. So I will put the article up on that. I mean, it's just we want to congratulate that kid or his mom, who I doubt you watch this because we're a small channel, but if you do find us, please contact us, email or DM, and I will send you a shirt or some stickers or something, because you are based, kid. Keep it up. We need more men like that.
Stay strapped or get clapped.
And the last thing for the day, something a little bit fun for you guys to keep us not so down, not so depressed, is Dan's cursed gun images of the day.
Oh, which one are you picking? Because I sent you like 9.
I'll look at 3. So you've already looked at these.
Oh, they are so cursed. Okay, a couple of them might be a little blurst.
What's blurst?
Blessed and cursed. Oh, I love the HK.
So I have got one here.
Oh, yeah, the HK51K.
So this isn't even like someone trying to make a cursed gun. This is just...
You can actually buy one of those.
This is a production model.
That particular original wasn't. That's like something somebody made for the SAS to just f around with. I think PTR actually makes those still, but it's basically an MP5K scaled up to 308. It's got all of like 5.5 inches of barrel and no stock.
Ow.
And at a rate of fire of like 700.
Can you put a stock on that? It looks like there might be a spot for it.
get yourself a tax stamp, and that's going to be a nifty little flamethrower of an SBR, but at like 800 rounds per minute of 308, that thing just shoots flames. I've seen videos of them being shot, and they light up the night sky, and that thing is blurst as hell. I hate the idea of it, but I want one.
It's a hunting MP5.
It's for a gunfight in a phone booth. If you ever need to, like, fight somebody in the gas station bathroom, this is a great rifle for it.
You guys, I know I'm putting this in post, but you guys, when you're looking at this picture, the magazine for the caliber is like a fifth or maybe a quarter of what the gun length is. So it's crazy kick. That would, you know, it's funny enough. One of our guys, Eternal, on the Discord, which you guys should join. It's free until 2024. Eternal, me and him were talking about fall weather, because now you can, if you can concealed carry, you can concealed carry more fun things now. And I brought up the sawed-off shotgun, and then he said, no, sawed-off 50. And I was like, please no, my shoulder.
Oh, shout out to Kentucky Ballistics, who's got a 50 BMG pistol. Oh, it hurts thinking about it.
And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. This is a little taste for most of the guys who are not West Coast guys for what we have to deal with out here. And don't come out here. And if you move from out here, don't take your politics, at least especially on guns, with you. This has been Dutch and AR Dan. Happy hunting. So he has one noob gun. Start that over.